Welcome to Psychology Today. I'm your host, Ann Morrow, and this is a show about bicycling in general and specifically about bicycle safety. I hope that Psychology Today inspires you to ride a bike and helps you to be more mindful about safety. We try to celebrate the people in our community that incorporate bicycling into career choices or entrepreneurial endeavors, and those that strive to encourage others to ride a bike or to just support cycling and safe riding. Our producer, Northwest Bicycle Safety Council, is an organization that promotes safety and harmony between cyclists and works to strengthen our community and your families through cycling-related programs and events. And we've been distributing helmets in the community this summer. We were at Tualatin Hills Parks and Recreation Party in the park recently, and we'll soon be at Scooping with the Sheriff, and we'll be at Bike Beaverton in September. And we firmly believe that helmets are a critical part of bicycle safety. I want to give a quick thank you to our capable crew in the control room, without whom we would not have a show. So I want to meet, we have a couple of guests on our show, and as I had said, we like to celebrate people that encourage cycling and inspire us, and I think we'll find ourselves inspired at the end of the show. Our guests are Debra Rhea and Lisa Howlett, and guys, meaning the male species. I think that you'll find this show interesting as well, even though it happens to be kind of a panel of women. So welcome, ladies. Thanks for coming to Psychology
Thanks for
Today.
having us.
So I'm going to ask each of you to just kind of introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
Go ahead and start, Debra.
Well, I'm Debra, and I'm a native Oregonian, and I've lived in Portland for about the last 13 years, and I have 3 kids, and I got into cycling probably about 14 years ago.
Okay.
And I'm a native Oregonian, native Portlander.
Okay.
And I probably got into cycling about 10 years ago when I met Debra at a class to learn how to, a class for women that was offered at Title IX, teaching biking skills, safety, not having fear of the road. And so we've kind of been friends since then.
Yeah.
And then she started this riding group. So
Well,
here we are.
I live in Washington now, but I'm a native Oregonian too. I was born here. So we're all 3 of us.
That's right.
I want to start by spending some time first discussing the role of the bicycle in your lives, and then we're going to talk about the meetup group.
Sure.
So for each of you, and Debra, you can start again. How did you initially get into biking? What really drew you in, and how did you get going?
Well, I got married, and my husband was really into cycling. And I started riding with Portland Velo, and it wasn't really the experience I wanted. I wanted to ride with women.
Okay.
And so he said, oh, why don't you start a women's cycling group? And so that's how it all started.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's, thank goodness, huh? Because here we are.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And Lisa?
I kind of said already. Well,
Yeah,
I
you
was
did.
kind of interested in just trying road biking. I was intrigued by it. It looked like it would be a great place to see different places from a different perspective and great exercise. So I took that class, and that's where I met Debra.
Okay.
So yeah.
But I appreciate knowing what was kind of drawing you in
Yeah.
in the first place, because I have to believe that there are others out there like us that haven't gotten on the bike yet that kind of would like to try it or would enjoy it. They just need to
Absolutely.
be encouraged to come out.
That's
So
right.
that's kind of what we're going to try to do right now.
Getting over that fear.
Yeah.
How do you get started
Exactly.
and overcoming that fear?
Exactly. So right now, what role does the bike play in your life? Why is cycling important to you personally at this point? So Lisa?
Sure. Well, for me, it's probably multifaceted. Certainly, it's a great form of exercise. But maybe more importantly, some of the, and unexpectedly, I didn't know this when I went into it, but the relationships that I've built with women and the friendships that I've built, and I've encouraged other friends to join, and they have. And so it's been great. There's just this nice community that I've become a part of.
Yeah, that is a nice side benefit.
Yeah.
And Debra, how about you?
Well, a lot of the same things. Certainly, we've seen a lot of sights that you wouldn't see, right, if you were in a car or doing something else. And I've always been athletic my whole life, so it kind of fit in. And definitely the friendships. I mean, the camaraderie in our group is just amazing. We do more things than just cycle.
Right, right. Your group is kind of, I think, unique somewhat that way.
It is. We have potlucks. We've had a clothing exchange. We travel together. What else do we do?
We'll do little happy hours now
Little
and again,
happy hours,
especially in the
yeah.
off season, just to keep the group
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
A lot
Good
of people
idea.
don't ride in the wintertime, so we'll
Right.
have a little happy hour just to keep the social part going.
Nice.
Yeah.
It sounds like you guys really work at it. Give it some thought. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't mean really work at it like it's hard. I just mean you give it some thought and
Yeah.
you try to keep that buzz going.
Right.
Well, that's really, really neat. So you talk about doing all this cycling, and I think you both work, you have families. So how do you find the time to do all this? How do you balance all of that?
That's a good question. Well, I'm a real estate agent, so my hours are really flexible, and that helps a lot. What I try to do is I try to schedule the rides like a month in advance, and I usually spend one day or so doing that, and then that kind of helps me know what is going to happen, and my family's used to it. They're very supportive. And so they just know on Sundays I'm going to be riding.
Okay. Okay. So, but in your being self-employed, don't things come up that are unexpected that draw your time to work?
They do, but you know, in real estate, surprisingly, it's pretty flexible.
Okay.
So I've probably only had, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 times in 9 years that I wasn't able to make it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I've seen her work on trips too.
Oh.
Oh yeah. When we travel, I take my laptop and I just continue to
does.
work.
And thank goodness for cell phones.
Yeah.
And Lisa, any comments on your end?
Well, I work in the business world, and so it's more of a well, I'll say 8 to 5, but not not actually that, but so I have the weekends.
Yeah.
So I know what days I have off, and so most of our rides, as Debra said, are on Sunday. So if my schedule allows, I try to make it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just make it my priority.
And
That's all you can do.
Yeah, I call myself a weekend warrior.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
we just seize the weekend.
Because we do other sports too.
Yeah.
Oh,
I play
okay.
tennis and
I run.
yeah,
I've been athletic my whole life.
yeah.
So do you see that as kind of essential to be a weekend warrior? That is, you need to do something else because you couldn't just ride the way you want to ride if you only rode on Sundays and didn't do anything in between.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to cross train.
Yeah.
I do spin classes to stay in shape when I know that I can't go do a 6-hour ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in the winter, like you
In the
said,
winter,
when
yes.
it's just not so conducive.
Yeah. In the last couple of years, I've done Orange Theory, and
okay.
it's really helped me a lot.
Okay. How
But-
so?
Just because it's such a overall workout. You use every muscle that you didn't know you had, and it just made me strong all over. So it's just I feel that the endurance is better.
Okay. Yeah, I think a lot of people have found that kind of thing to be true.
Yeah.
The spin classes or
Right.
just
Yeah.
any cross training.
And
yeah.
I run during the week too.
Yeah.
And I think Lisa probably does
Yep.
too.
Not as much lately, but I
Yeah.
yeah.
Still consider yourself a runner.
Yeah. I try.
So when you first got into cycling, were there obstacles? Were there little things that kind of got in your way to doing this? Maybe arranging how to manage your time somehow, or did you see this? Well, you talked about it, the first experience with a club just wasn't what you wanted, and so
Yeah.
you went looking for something else, or role models, or what did you have to overcome?
Well, the reason we made the change is we wanted to ride with women. So just the obstacle really was finding women.
Yeah.
Right? So we started on Meetup. Laura, who was going to be here, she and I kind of started together, and I would post things on Meetup, and gradually people would come.
Right.
Yeah, and then I don't know at what point we started the Facebook page, but that's how we we acquired all the people.
And was Meetup fairly new when you were starting it? I mean, now it's pretty commonplace. I don't know exactly when it started.
I don't either. Definitely started it 6 years ago.
It's a pretty accepted way to find people that want to do what you want to do, whatever that might be. So, and so it's a great resource. And we'll get to Facebook and the Meetup a little bit. Well, I want to ask you, so you talked about getting together with Laura, and I think you kind of touched on the hows and the whys. You wanted to ride with women.
Right.
And so instead of sitting at home saying, I want to ride with women, you saw an opportunity, and you developed that solution.
Right. There weren't a lot of women's cycling groups in Portland, so we just decided that we would go out and start riding, and at that point, we weren't in the best of shape. And then it just gradually got better and better, and now we ride 14 to 17 miles an hour. That is one of our requirements. So we're an intermediate group.
Yeah, and we'll probably touch on that a little bit later too. So so you've got the Meetup group, and it's called Ladies Let's Ride. So that's one way to find your calendar, so to speak. And then you also have a Facebook presence, which might be a better way to really keep track of what else going on.
Well, I keep both of them running in parallel. We don't always put like our happy hours and those things on Meetup. So, but it's a good way to gather more women on both sides.
So if someone's interested, and I'm not super familiar with Meetup, so if someone's interested, I just go to Meetup. You've got a ride on a certain day,
right?
And I have to join, right? Do I have to join your group?
You have to say you want to come, yes.
And RSVP, say I'm coming.
Yes.
And then you've got where and when and how.
Right.
And I need to have a helmet, probably.
A helmet, yes. Water, snacks.
Be prepared to ride and take care of myself if something happens.
And sometimes if new women come, I'll make contact with them and just kind of tell them, you know, we ride 14 to 16 or 14 to 17. And so do you know, I'll ask them, do you know what speed you ride? And so I might suggest that they come out on a flat ride and try us first versus maybe a hillier ride.
Sure.
She always posts the route, so you can see the distance, the elevation.
Right.
There's a cue sheet that goes along with it, so you can see where you're going to be going.
But you are accessible to answer specific questions, because a new person might have unique questions, or at least unique to them. Not understanding how this might work and what to expect.
Right.
I know I'm a ride leader for Portland Bicycling Club, and I have a call to respond to right now that is this a good choice for me? You know, should I do this ride or some other ride? And and while the internet is great, the verbal interaction is really helpful too.
Right.
So the way I understand it, Deborah, you're talking about you developed the calendar. Do you have other women that are helping you run these rides, or do you do it all?
Generally speaking, I do it.
Okay.
There's occasions when other people will fill in. Yeah.
Because you might go someplace.
I might go someplace. Or like if we take our trip, somebody else might run the ride while we're gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So isn't that exhausting to be the ride leader?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I look forward to it.
Okay.
I mean, occasionally I like to have somebody else lead the ride, but for the most part, I enjoy it.
Okay. All right. Good. And so do you literally lead off the front of your group then as a leader? You're showing the way.
I do. Okay. And a lot of times, especially if there's a new route, I'll go drive the route first.
Oh, okay.
To be sure, because you never know. You want it to be safe, and it might there might be construction or gravel or whatever.
Always. Yeah.
She does a lot of preparation for these rides.
Okay. Yeah. But you repeat them, right? Because you have good routes that you double back to maybe once a month, or maybe not even that frequently?
Probably not that frequently.
Okay.
We've been doing it for 6 years, so I have quite a library of routes. and occasionally I get a new one.
Uh-huh. How do you get a new route?
Maybe somebody tells me about it.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know, the scenic byways. We've been doing those
Yeah,
more.
yeah. Those are a great resource.
yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm doing a ride that I call Cycle Oregon Light in September, and yeah, one of the days is just using a scenic byway. So you're right, no legwork of figuring it out or anything.
Right.
And it's all marked. You know, it's
Yep.
got the signs up and stuff. So yeah, those are really awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I just was curious because that's really interesting how you do so much work in making this organization, this meetup group run, and I like to tell people, and here you guys are, you've done all the work, and maybe it's not that difficult, but seriously, you've got a time, a place to start, a route, and all people have to do is show up and ride with you.
It's true.
And it makes it really simple, because if I had to do that every Sunday, figure out a route, I probably wouldn't do it. But you know, it's just hard.
Yeah.
I'm tired of this same old route from my house, you know.
Yeah.
And it's safe and welcoming.
Yeah.
So wouldn't you say almost every ride there's a new person
Oh,
that
yeah.
finds, you know, they may
Definitely.
come again, they
Yeah.
may not,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's very welcoming.
And I think that people feel that there's safety in numbers
Absolutely.
for a lot of different reasons.
Definitely.
If you have a mechanical, there's a group there to help you so that you're not stranded out who knows where
Right,
in the
right,
country
yeah.
by yourself, which is a little intimidating.
Right.
Or just that group of people that hopefully a motorist sees a group and might miss that single person. So I
Absolutely.
think we all feel more confident with a group. And it just really, I think, increases your skills riding with a group like
yeah.
yours.
Right.
A lot of people, you know, I brought this is the law about bicycling, but some of it is just kind of protocol that we all develop, like calling out on your left. That's not written out in any book or anything.
Right.
Signaling hazards in the road and things like that that make it all a lot of fun riding as a group.
Like
So-
before we start, we call everybody together. If there's any, major things we need to say about the route, we say them. We remind people of what the rules are, like car back, car up.
Slowing,
Slowing.
stopping
Yeah.
to let the person behind
Yeah.
you know what you're doing to
Yeah.
avoid a crash,
Yes.
bike crash.
Yes.
And we're a no drop ride too.
Okay.
So we'll regroup, let people catch up.
So I know that, some bike rides are non-group, meaning here's your map. Bye.
Yeah.
If you can keep up with me, you can ride with me.
Yeah.
But a no drop means that, you're only going to go as fast as the slowest rider, which is why you're trying to set a miles per hour kind of
Right.
minimum so
Right.
that everybody doesn't have to go super slow, because some people come out and start out at less than 10 miles per hour.
Right.
So
Right.
you want, like you're saying, you're looking for intermediate riders.
Right.
And that's fair.
Yeah.
And I think that just makes a lot of sense. So generally, in my opinion, women are a growing group of cyclists. I think there's been little upticks in women getting more involved over the last several years. It seems like because of safety concerns, I think, is one big reason that they don't maybe join in as readily. They've got some concerns, at least with road bike riding, and I think Lisa and I were talking about this a little bit before the show. Have you found that anecdotally to be true? And talking to some of the members of the group, do they have concerns about riding their bikes? And if so, what are they? And
Oh,
how have you helped
sure.
dispel those?
Sure, and I think we did too when we started.
okay.
My gosh. If people have fears, I generally talk to them about it, usually before the ride. Like I try to put them at ease that this ride is going to be, say, on the Springwater Corridor. We really don't have to worry about cars. Or if we go out to Sovies, excuse me, people out there are used to cyclists, and we try to stay single file. So,
And like you said, that whole car back thing, and just kind of teaching them how they can be safe and share the road.
Right.
And that tends to work better in doing that. And So some of the safety concerns, of course, sometimes they aren't going to come out to ride with you, so you're not going to have those conversations.
Right.
Any other safety concerns that people have expressed to you?
Those are the main ones. I think the cars.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Just fear.
Yeah,
Fear
fear.
of being on the road. I mean, I don't know about you, Deborah. I still have it at some time.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
you have to get in a zone when you're riding and just know, you know, you trust
Yeah.
that you're doing the right things and you're being respectful to the cars and you're paying attention.
Yeah.
We try to keep the ride groups smaller.
Okay.
Because that's,
Yeah.
like if we have 20 riders, for example, we might break into 2 groups.
Okay.
And put some space between the 2 groups so the cars can go around us.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sometimes
that's a
even
good idea.
smaller.
Right.
If it's a really busy road.
Right.
We usually don't have that many of them, but once in a while a route
Right.
will have that.
I know there's some situations where you really want to advise your riders, if you get a pile up of cars, pull off and let them go by or something. And that's rare. Usually we have decent shoulders and stuff.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you're right. I mean, we all try to be really cognizant of the fact that we're trying to share the road. We'll try to be accommodating too. It's not just we're here, too bad.
Right.
No, we want to give bikers a good name.
Yes.
We want
Yeah.
cars
Yes.
to like us.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Well, we're going to take a quick break and watch a video about bicycle safety, and then we'll return with Psychology Today and talk to our Debra and Lisa here about road bike riding and some of their recent trips. They've got some exciting adventures that they've been on over the years, and they'll share some of their adventures with us. So let's go to a quick safety video.
Bike safe, bike smart. Hi, my name is Xander.
And my name's Elizabeth.
Over the next few minutes, we're gonna have some fun and talk about some pretty important stuff.
Some of it you've heard before, but it never hurts to hear it again
And again,
and again. So here we go. Did you know that just falling off your bike is enough to get a serious brain injury? So play it safe. Wear your helmet every time you ride. It can reduce the risk of head injury by up to 85%.
and that's a lot. The helmet should be snug on your head and sit flat. The strap should form a V under your ear, and the chin strap should also be snug. 2 fingers should fit in between your eyebrow and your helmet.
Also, make sure your helmet meets safety standards. Look for a sticker that says CPSC. This stands for the Consumer Product Safety Commission.
All the stuff we talked about today is common sense.
But you still need to think. Be courteous and be predictable by always riding in a straight line.
Wear a helmet. And follow the rules of the road. Ride with traffic on the right side of the road. Ride single file.
Obey traffic lights and traffic signs. Check behind you before turning. Use proper hand signals.
Stop, look left, right, then left again before entering a street. And use caution at an intersection.
Make eye contact with other drivers. Be careful around parked cars and watch for objects in your path.
And at night, be seen to be safe.
Never assume that motorists or pedestrians will see you. Remember, bikes are smaller than cars, and if there's a crash between the two, any guesses who will win?
That's all the time we have. So remember these 4 words. Bike safe, bike smart.
Well, welcome back to Psychology Today, and we'll get back to our discussion with Lisa and Debra in just a moment. That was a great safety video, really brief, but covered some really important points, and certainly we are all about helmets, and so that information is always really helpful to reflect back on how to buy a helmet, fit a helmet, and what constitutes a safe helmet, what to look for. So there's a lot of rides going on, and we want to encourage you to ride. There's a lot of bike clubs in our area, and Debra and Lisa are sharing about their meetup group, Ladies Let's Ride. And I want to just encourage you to take advantage of those resources. Portland Bicycling Club was formerly Portland Wheelman Touring Club, and we changed our name in April to have a more inclusive name. So you'll see that old name PWTC changing, transitioning to Portland Bicycling Club over the next several months. And we've got a ride every single day, our club does, and we're just different than the meetup group, just the way we operate, not saying one's better than the other or not, but we do have a ride every day. And some of them are not going to be for everybody, because they're not going to be group rides. They're not going to be no drop rides. They're going to be non-group rides, and you'll get a map. And if you can't keep up with them, you're just going to have to find your way. But a lot of the rides are not non-group rides. So also, you know, there's big rides that I call event rides that you pay to do the ride, but they have a lot of features like food and bathrooms and things for you to do. So Salem Bicycle Club has Peach of a Century coming up August 25th, and they have a 62, 76, and 100-mile route on that particular ride. And September 1st, they have the local, less serious Tour de Lab with various doggy-themed routes and a little beer. And that has different distances and things also. And September 22nd is the ever-popular Harvest Century, and that has a variety of routes, 25, 45, 75, and 100-mile options, plus a family route. So there's lots of riding to do, and you know, like the Vervort Sausage Ride in November, I mean, it just never ends. So cycling is definitely something that can keep you active and out there enjoying the fresh air all year long. So let's talk some more about Debra and Lisa's meetup group called Ladies Let's Ride. And I wanted to read from their website, or the meetup website, and I just think it's a really good, well-written invitation to other people and really makes some excellent points. So I'm going to read it in its entirety, and then we're going to kind of dissect it. So this is from the Ladies Let's Ride meetup group website. It says, interested in cycling, but not sure where to start? Are you tired of going on rides by yourself or with the boys? Well, have I got a group for you. If you are new to cycling or a veteran rider, I invite you to gather for regular rides with us. Looking for a more inclusive, welcoming, and fun ongoing cycling experience? Our purpose is to gear up, get on, get out, and get going. Feel the wind at our backs while having fun with like-minded women. Who cares if the guys are faster than us? We just like to ride our bikes, chat, improve our fitness, and become safer riders. Isn't that right? We will meet new people, give each other moral support, and have fun socializing in the outdoors. Our routes will include Washington County routes, Sylvia Island, Springwater Corridor, Frenchman's Bar, Banks Vernonia Trail, Scenic Gorge Highway, and many other options. Our rides vary from 25 to 85 miles at 15 to 18 miles per hour. So we'd kind of covered a little bit of that. But I think that's just such a welcoming, such a nice, I don't know, it just seems like it would appeal to a lot of people if they came upon that. Like, yeah, that's me.
And that's what we really strive for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it, a little bit of some of the pieces of it. So one point says, not sure where to start. And it seems like that's kind of a common thread. Mm-hmm. Okay, that looks like fun. What do I need to do? Yeah. And maybe they race to the bike shop and buy a bike, but then they come out on a ride and, oh, this isn't the right bike. So anyway, what are your thoughts about this? Not sure where to start.
Well, I find that most women have been cycling, but they've been cycling by themselves. And I think they're excited to find a group and ride with us.
And have some different routes. So there's a variety.
Yeah.
Because they may have just been riding, out and back Springwater or something safe. And not that that's necessarily safe, but
Right.
these
We're
days.
finding that out, yes.
But yeah, so just there's a lot of variety. As Debra
Yeah,
has said, she's posts. We probably only do the same, maybe some rides a couple times a year, but there's so many rides available. There's always a variety.
Something different.
Yeah, and we go all over, so there's something for everyone.
Yeah. So maybe this weekend doesn't quite work because I'm brand new, but next weekend might be different, and
Right.
I can jump in and find out what it's all about.
Yeah.
Okay. And it says more inclusive and welcoming and fun, ongoing cycling experience. So why do you think it's important to single out those factors, like to be inclusive, to be welcoming and fun?
Because I think that's what people want. I mean, I think our jerseys are fun.
Yeah.
We get a lot of comments about our jerseys. And, you know, it's not every time, but we try to do the little social things maybe. Sometimes we have pie or coffee after our rides.
Yeah. We don't take ourselves that seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just want to enjoy each other's company, have a good time.
And that's a good point.
Be safe.
You don't take yourselves that
Yeah.
seriously.
Right.
Yeah. And your jerseys are really neat, and I hadn't seen them before.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, ladies, let's ride. And just the colors and the patterns, and they're really nice, and they're very unique. So they really, I'm sure, I think Lisa was saying, they really stand out.
They do, yeah.
And so you get a lot of, you draw people in that way as well.
We have them for all weather. So Deborah's
Right.
got the sleeveless sleeves. We've got long sleeves. We have
wow.
a vest. We have a cap. Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
You went all out.
We did.
So I love this. Our purpose is to gear up, get on, get out, and get going. And that's really cleverly written, and it's inspirational. So what was the creative process of coming up with that phrase?
Well, I have to be truthful. My husband actually wrote this. He's more of a marketing person.
Okay.
So he helped put that together.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it. And he did a good job, I think.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the distances. 25. It says our rides vary from 25 to 85 miles, 15 to 18 miles per hour. And so you had said you're kind of an intermediate group.
Yeah.
So it doesn't meet everybody's needs. So as a community, what do women do? And I have this problem too.
Yeah.
Do we need a super beginner group for women? I
Well,
think there are.
There are some groups out there. So if they came to our group, but they couldn't ride that 14 miles per hour, then we would probably talk to them and say, listen, you know, you need a little bit more time on your bike. Here's another option or two for you.
Good. Now, and I was just thinking, so 15 to 18 miles per hour is not an average. It's kind of, is it, or is it kind of on the flats that you can
It's
go
on
that
the flats.
fast? Yeah.
It's not talking about hills.
Most of us, yeah.
No.
Most of us aren't getting an
can't do
18
that on a
mile an
hill.
hour average. Excuse me. Okay, so, and you're right, and just the cross training might help them too, to get stronger.
And knowing how to eat too.
Okay.
Cycling's
Good point.
different.
Eating, hydrating.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So did both of you have to kind of learn that?
Oh,
Or-
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been a runner, so a distance runner, so I knew what I needed to do, or at least it's different. Cycling is a little bit different because you can actually eat more hearty food than when running. So
okay, I'm not a runner.
So
Yeah.
it expanded my
Well, that would be a good
nutritional
thing, wouldn't
options for during the ride. Yeah.
So if you're going to have one of these 85-mile rides, what kinds of things would you be eating, and when would you start eating them?
Well, it's a good idea, I think, to eat or drink about every 30 minutes. So protein bars. I take peanut butter and jelly sandwiches sometimes.
Electrolytes, some sort of
Yes.
electrolyte in your drink. But if I was going to go 85 miles, I'd probably eat lunch.
Yeah.
Probably, there'd be a big break in the middle of that, and some sort of good lunch.
Real food?
Real food lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you both usually carry something with you, maybe just in case, maybe you don't even use it,
Yeah.
but maybe you have a bar or
Or you have a
something.
bar, maybe some shot blocks, which is another thing you
Nuts.
can do for electrolytes.
Yeah.
Nuts are a good thing. Some people do dates.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, to me, kind of a trial and error.
Yeah.
What works for you maybe isn't as great for me. and vice versa. And the drinks, some people love them, some people,
You always have to
gastric
test
distress.
it out
Yes.
on a shorter ride.
Yes.
You never want to do something new on a rigorous event.
Good
You always
good
want to test
advice.
it out. Yeah, because people do react differently, and you can have GI issues. And
Yes.
you don't want that.
Not
so
right.
Definitely try the stuff out.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a friend whose wife did walk the marathon a lot. And
yeah.
that's this is many years ago. Yes, there was some new drink out there, and everybody tried the new drink, and they pretty much walked from porta potty to porta potty.
no.
So it was not, so that I learned from
Yeah.
his experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't try the new stuff on the big ride.
No new.
So, tell us some more of the factors that bring women to Women Let's Ride. What are some of the stories? I mean, you socialize a lot. What are some of the stories about some of your new friends? What brought them to your group, and what kind of successes have they had with Ladies Let's Ride?
Well, I think what brings them is they were cycling by themselves, and they have heard of us through the grapevine, word of mouth. And that's what brings a lot of people, that we're a fun group and we have safe rides and fun experiences.
And sometimes we'll attract people that will be out on rides.
Yes.
So they'll see us
Okay.
and they'll see a group of
Yeah.
women, and sometimes with our jerseys, and they'll ask about, who are you guys? And Deborah has
Right.
cards made up for the group to give to them so they can find us. And we've had a lot of people that
We have.
they'll hook up with us later
Yeah.
and join. Yeah.
And sometimes we've gone to organized rides, and maybe a lone woman or two might see us there and go, and we'll invite them in.
Yeah.
And then they
yeah.
start riding with us.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that the jersey saying that, when you're riding, and if I was behind you, I'd definitely want to talk to you and have questions about, well, what's this all about?
Yeah.
Especially as a woman. So,
Yeah.
well, I'm really glad that you're out there. I think people need that, and I think that a lot of women are looking for rides with women for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So, just what kind of encouragement would you give to people that want to be part of this and not take themselves so seriously?
Right. Just, I guess, come on out and give us a try. If you're not quite the right fit, it's okay. We'll help you find another group.
Yeah.
And if you are the right fit, well, great. Let's just start riding together.
And usually on Sundays, you're saying that your rides are...
Yeah, in the summer we ride twice a week. There's
Okay.
the Wednesday hill rides,
Okay.
and then on Sundays always.
What hills are those?
Well, I live in Southwest, so the rides start from my house, and we have about 5 different routes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're shorter. They're like
Uh-huh.
15 miles probably,
Uh-huh.
but they're a really good workout.
It's a nice compact workout to
Yeah.
get strong.
Yeah.
Right. They last for probably an hour, maybe an hour and a half at the most.
And it's in the evening.
Right.
Oh,
So
okay.
people can go after
Right.
work.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is a fun way to spend a summer evening, isn't
Yeah.
it? Good for you. So you typically facilitate a yearly cycling trip, and I know you say you visited France, the San Juan Islands, Costa Rica, Vancouver, British Columbia, the Kettle Valley Trail. So just talk about some of those trips and why you went there and what was so fun about them, and why that's a real key part of your group.
Well, I think it's funny because Lisa and I were definitely the ones that talked about it years ago.
Uh-huh.
Like maybe 2 years into having Ladies Let's Ride, we just said, hey, wouldn't it be fun to go somewhere?
Yeah.
Like, let's go on a cycling adventure.
Oh, okay.
And so there was actually 3 of us that got together and kind of, one did most of the research, and then Lisa and I kind of filtered it out and
Yeah.
decided, this one sounds really good.
Yeah. And that was Provence, France.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy, you went big.
It was our first trip
Yeah.
was
The
a big
first
trip.
thing.
It was.
You're going to
it
Europe.
was. And
Yeah.
it went really well.
Uh-huh.
And it could have gone so many ways. Because it was a self-directed tour.
Oh, okay.
Meaning we used somebody to get hotels and food and get our luggage to the next location. But in the morning when we left, we got a map. and we had to get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
And you did, and
We did.
you had a
We
great
did.
time.
It was eight days of cycling, and we would leave our hotel in the morning, and well, I guess we maybe had 2 days at one hotel, and then we would go on to the next hotel. So we rode to the next hotel, and our luggage and so forth would be there when we got there. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was a great way to do it. And so you just would ride through the country roads, and then up in the hills we'd go into little towns, and maybe you'd do a little wine tasting and ride some more, and we just would go see the sights.
So you helped people figure out how to do this. That is, here's when we need to be there. I'm flying this airline.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that as a participant, I didn't need to focus so much on all that.
Right.
You kind of facilitated everything.
Yep.
And worked with this organization to have routes and things.
Yeah.
Yep.
And voila.
Yep.
And just you have a group that you kind of know to ride with, as much or as little as you want, I suppose.
Well, it's the same idea that we had here. You know, when we get there, we announce, well, tomorrow we're going to start at 8:30, and here's our route, and off we go.
But if I want to stop over here and you guys don't, that's fine.
Yeah, I guess
Absolutely.
that's the main point about the trips, is it's a little different than our regular rides, because you are sightseeing.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to want to stop and take pictures and, you know, stop in this little town and look around or whatever.
Yeah.
And it just, it's a really fun time.
And you don't have to ride every day. So some people may want to, in the middle of the week, take a break, take a day
Okay.
off, and do something different, and they can do that. And then they'll meet up with the group, maybe for
Yeah.
dinner or something like that.
Nice. I mean, that just
so
takes...
you've got options. You're not forced to ride every day if
Yeah.
you get tired. Because
Yeah.
it can be kind of grueling.
Or
riding
maybe
it many
there's
days in a row.
something I really want to spend some time
Yeah.
at. I don't want to be on my bike.
Right.
So did you take your bikes over there, or was that part of the organization you worked with had bikes available?
Yep. So
They
you got to
provide them.
fit
Uh-huh.
that first morning or whatever, and so that's how it worked.
That takes a lot of the hassle out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Traveling with a bike is wonderful to have your own bike, but boy,
Yeah.
None
it's
of
a
our
lot
trips,
work.
they've always provided, except for the San Juans, which we all drove.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
close enough to drive.
Yeah.
But yeah, they usually give us. And we've had really good luck with the bikes.
Yeah.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah, and that first trip, it was interesting because since it was self-directed, we could do what we wanted, right? And the very first morning we were there, the entire town turned into a market.
Yeah.
And so everybody was pretty excited about that,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
half the group started on the ride, the other half stayed and did some shopping for a couple hours.
Yeah.
So that
And then proceeded on the route.
Yeah.
Right.
So you'd make it your own,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you guys have kind of figured it all out. Nice. So you had great success with that, and
Yep.
and where else have you been?
Well, what we've tried to do is do one more local trip and then one international trip. So the next year we went to the San Juan Islands, and that was a great time.
Yeah, that was fun.
We were we took the ferry to San Juan. And we stayed in Friday Harbor. We got about 4 or 5 houses.
Oh, okay.
And so then we just say, okay, tomorrow morning we're meeting at the dock at 8:30, and we're going to, you know, whatever
Whatever
Orcas
island.
Island, Lopez Island.
Yeah.
and
Now I
we
thought
drive
I
down.
saw you had a several day. You were there several days. What
5
all
days.
islands did you do? I mean, there's Lopez, there's Orcas, San Juan, of course, that you're already
Right.
on.
So we did Orcas twice.
Okay.
And actually,
Okay.
on the
Wow.
second day we did Orcas, some people decided just to do their own thing.
Sure.
Somebody went sailing or kayaking. or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, lots of different options, and
Yeah.
maybe you don't want to be on a bike.
Right.
But you stayed in. You didn't go like to Victoria or anything like
No.
that, because that would involve.
Yeah, that would be a bit much.
Yeah.
But people will do things on the front end or the back end of the trip.
Sure.
So we actually did a camping kayaking trip
Yeah, we
for 3
did.
days
Oh, you
after
did?
we were
Yeah.
done. There were 7 of
Oh,
us that
fun.
did
Yeah.
that. So that's what we found. Even with the all of the trips, people will do different things that will piggyback onto it.
Like
Yeah, as
after
long
the
as we're here.
Provence,
Yeah.
a lot of us went to Paris.
Yeah. So we still had a group. And
Yeah.
Oh,
We did some the VRBOs. We
Yep.
got some places.
Yep.
And yeah.
good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really fun.
Now, what did you do in 2019? What did you do this year?
We went to Vancouver, BC, and we did the Kettle Valley Trail.
Okay, I've
Which-
never heard of that.
I had never heard of it a couple years ago, for sure. But it's about 400 miles long, and a lot of it's gravel.
Okay.
Some is really packed and some isn't.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So that was a different experience.
Yeah.
So we used a travel agency that we used the prior year when we went to Costa Rica.
Uh-huh.
And they do an excellent job, and they provided the bikes, and we had a leader, and we had 2 shuttles, and we had 25 women.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you do kind of limit it. It's not
Oh, yeah.
it's
definitely.
not open to thousands
No.
of people. It's
No.
got to be kind of contained.
Right.
And so again, you got the bikes. So were they hybrid bikes? Were they just
They
had
were.
bigger tires? You weren't
Yeah.
riding road bikes this
No.
time.
No, road bikes wouldn't make
They
it.
wouldn't have worked. Yeah.
Did you train specifically for that kind of a ride, or did you just try to get miles on your bike in preparation?
Yeah, just a regular ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And was this your first gravel ride? I've not done that kind of thing before.
No, Costa Rica was our first.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So what was Costa Rica like then?
I personally think Costa Rica was the best.
Yeah. that was
Really?
probably my
It
favorite one,
was.
too.
It was. Let's see. Was it 8 days? I think it was 8 days, and we had a 2-day rafting trip that we started the trip off with.
Uh-huh.
So we rafted the Picari River for 2 days, and we stayed in the jungle one night and got up and got on our boats and went the rest of the way the next day,
Wow.
which was it was a great experience.
Yeah, how adventurous.
Yeah. And then we were shuttled to, say, like the volcano area. We did cycling there, and we crossed Costa Rica to the Pacific side.
Uh-huh.
And so we had like 4 or 5 days of cycling.
Of biking, yeah.
Okay.
Stayed in a beach town, so we were by
Right.
the ocean and did
Yeah.
some riding on roads in the jungle, basically. So
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
roads. It was really cool.
Yeah. So if I'm understanding you correctly too, you didn't just ride from like A to B, you kind of got rides to different places a little bit, or you rafted, or
Well,
so there was
a
multimodal.
yeah, it was
Uh-huh.
a multi-sport,
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Right.
2 parts to it.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So
Same
there were-
guides,
Yeah,
but
same
2 parts.
Yeah. So
Boy.
then we got in a big, nice luxury bus,
Yeah.
and they would take us to our cycling location,
Uh-huh.
drop us off, and pick us up at the end, or have lunch for us in midway.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It does sound really nice.
Yeah.
So I know you don't reveal what you're doing. What kinds of things are you thinking about for the future? What kinds of trips? Just kind of in discussions.
Well, I think our next one will be international,
Okay.
for sure.
Been a while. Okay.
Well, I didn't really consider Vancouver.
Well, that's right.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
that's
close
right.
to home.
Yeah,
Let's say that.
It is.
It is. And, is it affordable? And can everybody do it?
Uh-huh.
So those, I guess, are kind of the 3 things I think about.
Uh-huh. Trying to be inclusive.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
a-
meaning the terrain. That
Right,
it's,
right.
Can people do it? Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. So, just generally, what's been your favorite? I mean, other than this kind of fancy ride,
Yeah.
just around Oregon, Washington County. What's been your favorite ride this summer?
Wow, that's a tough one. There's so many good ones.
Yeah.
There are, but sometimes you kind of get hooked on one that just kind of
True.
appeals.
I guess for me, we went to Bend for Mother's Day,
Uh-huh.
the Mother's Day weekend. So several of us went over there and rode. We did McKenzie Pass, and we did another scenic route around Bend that I can't remember right
Uh-huh.
now. Those 2 would probably be my favorite.
You must have had nice weather then,
Oh, it was
even
great.
in May.
It was
because
great.
sometimes it isn't so nice
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah.
Not lucky you. How about you, Lisa?
Yeah, and I missed that ride this year, but I've done Mackenzie Pass.
Yeah.
Well, one of my favorite all-time rides. Love that. Boy, this year, other than our travel, I've ridden in the gorge a couple times, and I just love every time I get to ride in the gorge.
Whereabouts have you been? I mean, it's not that big, but
No,
where have you been
so we
riding
have
that
a-
you really like?
We have our ride that we go from Bridal Veil Falls
Okay.
to Cascade Locks,
Uh-huh.
and then back, and then we just did a ride from Hood River to Rowena Crest last
Right.
weekend, or
Okay.
2 weekends ago.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And it wasn't super windy for you
No, it
when
was
you were
really
doing that?
nice.
It was really
It's
nice.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Just gorgeous.
That is a beautiful area, and every June there's the gorge ride that starts in the
Yeah.
Dalles and goes up to Rowing
And there's a new path
Crest.
now too. There's a
Yes.
new section of it that just
Yes.
opened. We didn't ride that on, but
No.
we drove by it. It
Right.
looked great.
Yeah.
We're going to do it soon.
And then we did
Little
another
by
one too.
little.
We did Troutdale to
Oh,
the-
Cascade Locks?
no, not to Cascade Locks, to the what's the?
Oh, yes. Was it Bridal Veil, right?
Did we go all the way to Bridal Veil?
I think we did.
Okay, yeah, because we went past. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. It went to Bridal. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
So you went from Troutdale to
Bridal
Bridal
Veil.
Veil?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
and then
so-
back.
It seems like it's gotten more difficult to get down into the falls, you know, to go to the
Yeah.
Vista House and then get down into the falls, at least on the weekends. It's just gotten
Yeah.
so crowded,
Right.
even on a bicycle.
Right. We
It's
might
a
go
little
earlier.
challenging.
Yeah.
Sometimes we go earlier.
Uh-huh.
Because
Oh.
the traffic does
Yeah.
get bad.
In the morning when we start, the traffic isn't bad. When we are returning on our back, coming back,
There-
then it's busy. Like Multnomah Falls is pretty busy, and yeah, so that's a little dicey. I just try to ride as fast as I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
to get back.
Single
It's about
file.
a 5-mile stretch.
Yeah.
That's the type of
Yeah.
road where we will break up into maybe four, a group of
Yeah.
4, stick together, but have enough space so that cars can pass.
Good idea. 'Cause,
Yeah.
it's really congested. I know they're trying to work on that and make it friendlier for all of us.
Yeah.
But I don't know how far they're going to get as far as maybe making it one way going down into there. I don't know. I don't know what they can
Yeah.
do. They now have that shuttle bus. I think that's relieved some of the traffic for us. But yeah, I mean, Multnomah Falls used to be a classic ride there, and,
Yeah.
and it's kind of fallen off the radar, I think, a little bit because of all the traffic.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that gorge area is just beautiful. So, what do you see in the future for Ladies Let's Ride? You know, certainly you've got a good thing going. Do you just kind of see yourself continuing with what you're doing, or do you have hopes and dreams?
Really just continuing, I think, the way we are.
Uh-huh.
It's been really great and made a lot of friends and seen a lot of great spots I never would have seen.
And it sounds as if you have a good membership, I guess you call it, in your group. There's hundreds of women that are involved to some extent or another.
Yeah.
And so it seems like you're reaching people. You know, I just want women to ride if they want to ride. And
Yeah.
it sounds like you're accomplishing that. And it sounds like you really take people under your wing on an individual basis. Some of you do, to really help people, you kind of mentor them and take a personal interest. Is that do you see that to be true?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Because I think I'm thinking that I'm trying to do that more in our club. I don't know that this idea of kind of mentoring, that kind of thing, to make sure that there's that personal touch. And it
Yeah.
sounds like you guys kind of have at least a little bit of that.
Yeah, I think, you know, at the end of our ride, we'll say, thanks for coming. Did you enjoy yourself? That sort of thing.
And you've got the business cards so somebody can reach out to you and if they
Right.
have questions or whatever.
Right.
And then during the rides too, you're getting a chance to talk to people. So
Yeah.
you have a new person, and hopefully you'll be somewhere in the line where you can chat a bit
Yeah.
and just find out who they are and a little bit about what brought them there.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, we do that too. But
Yeah.
and so I really appreciate that because you want people to feel welcome. And I just
Right.
feel like maybe on a personal level I'm trying to make more of an effort to be that way, to be more reaching out to people.
That's great.
So but I really appreciate that you are doing this every week, virtually every week, where sometimes I'm just the rider, I'm not the ride leader, and that's kind of nice too. Because it's hard as a ride leader sometimes to meet with everybody because you've got a job to do and you're out front and people can't really ride with you because you're focusing on your job.
Yeah.
And so you rely on probably people like Lisa and some of your other longtime riders to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I might
Socializing,
ask
just-
somebody, do you want to lead the ride?
Okay.
I'll drop back, especially if we
Nice.
have a bigger group, because I do like to talk to people.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the one regret I have about being the leader is
Yeah.
I'm out front and I really can't talk to people very much
Right.
because then I miss a turn. So we've got a few minutes left. So how would you encourage women? I want to encourage, and men, but how would you encourage people to get on a bike and ride a bike and not be afraid? Find their organization that's going to meet their needs.
Yeah. I think just starting simple, you know. Springwater Corridor is a great place to get out and see how it feels on a bike and get in condition. So is Banks Vernonia Trail.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite rides.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a beautiful ride.
Yeah.
Someplace where there's no cars.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's easy, it's comfortable. There's generally a lot of people around. Yeah.
And, you know, in the winter especially, we stick a little bit closer to Portland. So there's the trails that circle Portland. And so that's another good ride to come out and test on, you know, because it's easy to go back if you need to, or there's no cars to deal with. We call it the taco ride because we stop at the carts.
Yeah, Portlandia.
Yeah.
Cartopia.
Yeah.
Portlandia.
Okay.
Have tacos.
Yeah.
Dollar tacos.
Yeah.
So-
that is a nice stop.
Yeah.
And yeah, there are lots of trails that connect if you know kind of how to do that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just kind of drawing a blank all of a sudden.
The other thing I was going to say, we didn't do it this year, but we have in the past. I've probably had maybe 3 new rider rides. And meaning what that is different than a regular ride. It might be on Saturday. I might get a couple regular people like Lisa to come help. And we have created quite a new following that way. You know, we might get 15 new people.
Okay.
Now, I'm not really sure why they don't all come back, but, you know, some of them do.
Yeah.
Some of them do.
Yeah.
And so that gives them a good flavor. We'll go on a shorter ride, go on a flat ride, just test us out and see how we do.
Kind of good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just put those on your schedule like any other ride.
Right.
They're going to find you on your meetup. You don't
Yep.
do any other kind of publicity,
Not really.
advertising. Okay. Because I feel like we need that, and I don't know that I'm one that wants to do that for women, but definitely that kind of starting point that's a little below intermediate, that's slower and just not quite as fast. But definitely you want to encourage women that they can do this.
Yeah.
They can,
Absolutely.
They can be the end of. They can be the intermediate rider.
You know, and we also have riders that are, I don't know, maybe 30?
Yeah.
And our oldest rider is in her 70s. So
Good point.
it's
Good point. Age isn't an
yeah.
interest. Well, thank you both for coming. Lisa and Deborah, thank you for joining us. And Ladies Let's Ride is the meetup group. And so I encourage you all to take a look at that and see if it isn't going to be something that gets you out on a bike and helps you feel safe and enjoying this sport that we all are very passionate about and love. And again, as I mentioned at the beginning, I find talking to women like these very inspirational and encouraging, that there's this camaraderie among so many women enjoying the sport of bicycling. So I hope that you enjoyed it too and got some encouragement to join us in cycling. Thanks for joining us on Psychology Today.